Hi, welcome to Classic Car Cave. So this is part 2 of doing the body restoration on this Mark III. It's a 1970 Mark III Mini Deluxe. I think the Deluxe meant you had an ashtray in it or something like that. But as you can see, I've got the front landing panel on and the bonnet. It's not actually attached with hinges, it's just sitting there. But I wanted to check the scuttle line on it before we go any further. The subframe is completely in now. It wasn't when I did the first fit, it was only attached with the tower bolts. Now on the Mark III, on these Mark IIIs, the subframe was solid mounted, so it's metal to metal. So I'll show you that in a second on the tower bolts. There's 4 tower bolts, 2 on each side. And it is shaped to the floor with another 4 bolts. Now normally there would be a rubber, and you can see them there. See the 2 here and 2 there. Obviously, when it's completely finished, there'll be nylocks. There won't be, but a nylock, once you've used a nylock, using it a second time, you can damage the thread. That's what keeps it tight. So I'll put nylocks on, but the same bolts. Yeah, so the situation now is that subframe is all mounted up. Excuse me, I just had to put my finger in here to open up the door. There we go. So it's all mounted up, it's all solid now. A lot of work to do still. Look on that bonnet and the front and everything else. And you can see here that this needs cleaning. This is it was a brand new front that had been put on a car, and it still had the stickers on it, but it had been really poorly welded together, and you can see where it's been cut in a few places. So all this has to come off to make it match correctly. Here and here. You can see there's a few bits. There's actually a piece missing out of that, so that'll have to be reconstructed to give a full flange on it, and so on and so forth. So what I'll do, as I said, is I'll take the bonnet off. Let me just maybe see if you can see the scuttle line on that. You can see that's going to be pretty nice, that scuttle line, and it sits pretty well on the front, as you can see. A few places here and there's a bit of a dent in that. But the other thing with these minis is there's a chrome strip that goes on the front as well. I'm not sure if this one had it or not. No, this is the original bonnet. I've tried to use as much of the original stuff on this car as I can, because I have the original engine and the original gearbox. It's basically the body reconstruction of it, or the restoration of the body. Obviously a brand new rear subframe, that was completely knackered, as they always are with minis, especially at this age. But yeah, I mean, for a 1970 Mark III Mini shell, in fact I don't think you can get the Mark III, I think you can only get the 1, 2, 4, 5 and so on. And some people might say, oh yeah, but you know, the floor is wrong with this, it's got the magic wand. Well, it was a combination of getting the right floor to fit this front subframe, plus also have that situation where you could have had an earlier one. So you've got remote gear shift, which is what this is. The gearbox on this is a remote, but you could have the magic wand system in it, and it's an 850, so it's an 850 Deluxe. And I really don't want to completely restore this car and sell it on. What I would like to do is find somebody, some young guy or middle-aged guy, whatever, who has a little bit of mechanical knowledge. You don't even need that much, to be honest, but who would like to take it, because all the hard work's done, and then basically fit it back together as a Meccano project. They're so easy to work on. But some of the more difficult details, you know, we could probably do. I don't particularly want to put it in paint. I'd like to put it just in primer, so somebody else could finish it up. But if somebody's interested in the car at the right price, we could actually paint it as well. So now this is all bolted up, and since we've done the tails on the back of the subframe, it's now all bolted up, which I'll show you in a second from underneath. But I have to crawl around on the floor. I hope you guys appreciate what I do as this nearly 70-year-old man. But you can see here now that this is a much better fit here and here. You can see where this mark is, and it actually fits in there now, and it's spot on the money. So you know, you can see that that's a really nice fit. And same on this side, but I have to, as you can see, that's out a bit, and I have to pull this over, but it fits. There we go. And you can see how that fits really nice. So the fitting's going to be not a problem. There will be a bit of work to do on the wings because they've been misshaped when they were put on. They are new or newish, but they were put onto this car, but really badly put on, or really badly bodged. So we had to be very careful when we took it all apart. But the wings are in really, really good condition. In fact, everything's in good condition. So yeah, so what I'll do is I'll show you underneath, and you can see here, if I come through here, you can see how that is. You can see how that is metal to metal here. There's no rubbers in these whatsoever. Like the later cars, they've got like a rubber mat in it. I guess that's the so what happened with these they were a bit more harsher on the ride, because there's no rubbers on the back and there's no rubbers under here. But what it does do, you get the driving experience, or the more direct steering with it, because you've got no rubber to move in between. Not that it could move a lot, but it could under a fair bit of load. So these were directly attached, so the steering on them is really pinpoint. You can see here the new bolts in it. Stella, she's whining. So you can see how it folds directly into the floor here. Yes. What do you want? Yeah, go on, you bit on camera. Yeah. Sorry about that. Yeah. So you can see it folds directly into the car. So it's a complete solid mounting, and obviously all this will be completely refurbished. It'll be mint when it's finished. Yes, stop licking me. Stop licking. So there we go. I'm going to have to try and get up now. I was talking about before about taking these bolts off of here. You can see now there's no problem with opening and shutting the door, because obviously I wanted to get to both sides. And as you can see, everything is almost brand new, front to back. Been a lot of time, a lot of effort, a lot of work gone into it, but I just couldn't see it go to the scrap heap. And the car really is nice, brand new quarter panels. I mean, I don't know how much in total. I would say sort of, it's got to be 50-60% of the car has got new panels on it, 50 at least. So it'll be a really nice project for somebody that'll last, 20 or 30 years if they look after it. Okay, so that's the wing roughly put in place. You can see that it's not a bad fit here. This has all got to be welded. This has got to be welded down here. And you can see there's the line. Then you can see this has come away from it. So this is a piece that was put into it. It was patched at some point. And what we'll do is we'll recreate this. We'll cut this patch out and bring that lip line so it's completely in there. We could lead load it, but I'll make it, put a new flange on it so that fits in there really nice. As you can see, the rest is pretty nice all the way around. Not quite fit in there, but we can move that forward. But that is piss poor, and that flange needs to be redone. So we'll take this piece out and build a new piece into it. You can see it's quite a nice fit there too. One of the other things, now I know people say, oh, it should be standard and all that. There's an argument for, keeping it original, not keeping it original. For a car of this age and for its cost, we're not talking thousands and hundreds of thousands of pounds. I mean, it's a Mini, for God's sake, 1970 Mini. But I don't particularly like these overhangs on the Minis. And on my Mini Cooper, what I've done with this is I've cut this back, and I've welded it in and then lead loaded over it, so it's a nice clean shape. One of the things I've found with these lips here, because they're over the top of each other, they tend to get water inside them, and especially from the front of the car. So it's a nice little detail to get rid of. Again, here we'll do the same thing. We'll weld this in, completely make it flush, and then if it needs it, we'll lead load it. You can see there's a little bit of issues there. The stuff behind, the ring behind, and the double metal here is not so bad because it has a gasket on it and the bowl is in there. But yeah, I mean, they were pretty sparsely put together, but I think they look shit like that. Okay, right, so I talked to you about putting these panels together, and this is just the tip. It's the way I found works very well. As long as the material, this is important to remember, as long as the thickness of this material, and you can check that with a digital caliper, if this material and this material is the same, theoretically they'll go together. Now you can see here I've got that completely flush in line. Obviously we're looking on the inside now. You can see that's completely in line. And this is what you're looking for if you've got two materials of the same thickness. And then when I was talking to you about the flanges, hang on, I'll show you here if I can get it around. Sorry about this, but I'm trying to hold it and lift it up. You can see here, this flange here is not in as good nick as the brand new one is, but you can see there's a little bit of overlap there in places, and that's why I'm saying don't go to this overlap on the flange. Make sure the inside's correct, and that means this panel and this panel are in line, and the flange you can dolly up afterwards. Bearing in mind you're putting a covering strip on it anyway. Yeah, you've got a cover strip to go over this, and it won't be seen anyway. You know, it's the same with here. If this is slightly sticking out from this one, you can clean it up. And everybody puts the covers, the chrome cover over them, or the rubber, or whatever you want to use. There is a downside to that. The rubber you put on these can trap water in them, so they should come off from time to time to be cleaned up. And that's probably why it's better than using the metal. It's kind of a metally, rubbery type clip-on one, because it scratches. If you use the rubber style, you can pull it off, give it a nice clean, pop it back on. If you've had a big shower or it's been sitting in the rain or water for a long period of time, it's a dead easy job to do, and it just pushes on by hand. So I just wanted to give you an update on the stuff for the track mini. This is obviously from MED. As you can see, we're getting these Omega pistons, but they're actually instead of being cast, they're from a billet, so they've been custom made. And this is all the parts that we need for the whole thing. And this is just from MED. I've got to speak to SH Engineering about the rubber belt and the seals, but there you can see the total price. So on that note, as usual, stay safe, keep the faith, enjoy your hobby, and I'll give you an update once I know where we are with the parts. Be good to each other. Bye for now.